What's going on, everyone? It's Jacqueline here from Nothing But Tech. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're talking about the AirPods Pro. So I've been using the AirPods Pro since their release on a daily basis, so I have a lot of thoughts for you. If you enjoy tech content, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. And let's get into my thoughts on the AirPods Pro. Okay, so it starts out with that really familiar, kind of memeable design. When the AirPods Pro came out, there were a ton of memes that followed, but I honestly think that this design looks a little bit cleaner than the regular AirPods because the stem is a little bit shorter. The case still scratches pretty easily like the regular AirPods because of the glossy white material, and that's kind of like the worst material choice possible to put on a product that's going to be next to keys and thrown in bags and stuff, but it is what it is. I've been using it since its release and it already has a ton of scratches on it. The actual earbuds are similar to the AirPods, but they're smaller and they go a little bit further into your ears. More on that soon. The stems are also a little bit more refined, so you now have controls to switch between the active noise cancellation modes and to pause the track. Putting these controls towards the bottom was definitely a really smart move because if they were on the top of the AirPods, then every time you hit it, you would push the AirPods further into your ear. So the stem was a good placement choice, and I find that I can easily do it without having to look at the headphones. The charging port is still Lightning, but it does pack wireless charging, which makes me really long for reverse wireless charging like the Samsung Note devices have. Hopefully we'll see that on the next iPhone, but for now, wireless charging on your desk is totally fine. And the actual battery life of the AirPods Pro is excellent, so I can find myself not really remembering the last time that I charged them, which is really a testament to how good it is. Before I talk about the nitty gritty of the other features of the AirPods Pro, I feel like I cannot go any further without talking about the sound quality. So here it is. It's not amazing, it's very similar to the regular AirPods, and it's even maybe a little bit less full than the regular AirPods, so if you're an audiophile, this is not the headphone for you, but I feel like you already know that. But what I would say is that it's really fine for podcasts and listening to music. I can listen to these for a couple hours, and I'm never really disappointed with them. They just don't ever really exceed my expectations. Okay, so this product review has kind of been like a roller coaster for me because week one, I really didn't like them, and I almost filmed a video saying that they were not worth the $300 that they cost with AppleCare, at all, because they sounded a little bit more tinny to me. They went further in my ear, which made them less comfortable, and I just wasn't a fan of them. And then I was going to Web Summit in Portugal, so I used them on that plane ride, and that changed my entire mind. I fell in love with them, and that was because I could actually listen to my music without having to crank my headphones up to 100%. Something that cannot be said for the regular AirPods. And then from there, I just kept loving them. I went to the gym and they were playing a terrible playlist and blasting it, and I put in my headphones and I was able to hear my own music and podcasts. I also began to get used to the inner ear design. Let's talk about that. With the regular AirPods, they kind of just rest on your ear and not in your ear, and those were my primary headphones since their launch as well, so I became very used to not having something actually going inside my ear, but most traditional in-ear headphones go in your ear canal. The AirPods Pro do that for a better seal, but that also means that there's a little bit more of an adjustment period to get used to that feeling. But out of all the in-ear headphones that I've tested, I would say that the AirPods Pro are the most comfortable, and that's for two main reasons. The first reason is that Apple re-engineered the tips, so only the actual tip, the meshable soft part, goes into your ear. On conventional headphones, there's a hard piece that's a stem that leads the music into your ear, and that goes into your ear canal. This is soft, so it's a lot more adjustable to the size of your ear. That means that your only option for ear tips is from Apple right now, but they're really comfortable, and there's 3 size options that come out of the box. And actually in the settings, Apple has a feature built in to have you test out which size gives you the best seal, but what I found for myself is that the most comfortable fit isn't always the best seal. So for some people, you're gonna have to decide if you want better active noise cancellation or more comfort. But let's talk about that seal. That's the biggest new feature for this AirPods line. It's the active noise cancellation. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a method of kind of muting out background noise to the best of the ability by using anti-noise. So the headphones use microphones inside the headphone and outside the headphone to track noise, and then they create an anti-noise before you hear it. So in an ideal world, that would mean that all the background noise is muted out and you're only hearing the audio that you want to hear. And it's not like magic, it doesn't work 100% perfectly, but what I found is it just tones down the outside noise so you can hear your music. It makes it hearable without having to crank it up to 100%. For example, in that airplane scenario, when I was on the plane, I was able to put in my headphones and drown out the engine noise enough where I could hear my audio. I kind of want to bring you through a simulation of what this would be like with the actual headphones in different scenarios. So of course, this is a simulation, but this is kind of the effect that you're going to be getting. Okay, so scenario number 1, the airplane. So if I'm in an airplane, this is what it would sound like without the active noise cancellation on. And then this is what it would sound like if I actually put the active noise cancellation on. I belong to you. So it's obviously a big difference. Scenario number 2 would be like a cafe. So this is kind of like maybe they have some low background music on, maybe a couple people are talking around you. This is what it would be like before ANC is on. I belong to you. And this is what it would be like after ANC is on. I belong to you. And the last scenario is the gym scenario. So I was at my gym and they're blasting music and it was really hard to hear like my music. This is what it would be like before the ANC is on. I belong to you. And this is what it would be like after the active noise cancellation is on. I belong to you. So it's a pretty big difference. It's obviously not as good as over-ear active noise cancellation, but it's really good for earbuds. Okay, but what about for the times when you need to hear your surroundings? Well, Apple's included transparency mode. So that basically filters in your outside environment into the headphones so you can hear your music, but then also hear like important things outside. So if someone's trying to talk to you, or maybe you're out for a run outside and you want to hear like a car passing by, it's going to make it so you can hear all those types of things. And it actually works really well. The one scenario where it did not work well for me was on the airplane. When I turned it on, it just filtered in the engine noise, but no one like talking, like the engine noise kind of overpowered all the other sounds. Otherwise, in a cafe, if you're like in your house and you have someone like talking to you in another room, it's good for all of that. And then there's the microphone. So with AirPods, you've probably seen a huge shift in a lot of people just walking on the street, like talking into the air, but they're using their AirPods. The AirPods Pro also has a microphone, but it's not excellent, especially in windy environments. It's better than the AirPods have been in the past, but it's still not amazing. You're still gonna hear like that windy noise, and it's a little bit tinny as well, but for phone calls, it's like totally fine. This is a quick microphone test of the microphones on the AirPods Pro. So all that's great, and the battery life and the active noise cancellation features really have impressed me, but then you also get all of the other conveniences that come with AirPods. You're getting the easy pairing and the battery life tracking within iOS, and the pairing between multiple devices as well. So you can go from your iPhone to your Mac. It really fits really nicely into the Apple ecosystem. That's not to say though that I haven't had a couple weird glitches as I've used them over the month. So I'm really glad that I waited this long to review them, because these issues started to arise after a couple weeks of using them. And they haven't happened like really often, but they have happened more than one time. So it's not just like one weird glitch. I've had it happen multiple times. The first one is that sometimes if I take out the one AirPod and then I put it back in, the music or the audio becomes out of sync between the two headphones, or it only plays in one headphone, and then I have to take out the headphones again, re-put them in, maybe even unpair them before the audio comes back in the regular way. The other issue that I had a couple times is I would be running on the treadmill or doing something active, and I would start to hear a clicking sound in the right AirPod. It was like really weird, almost as if like the tip was not securely on, even though it was. And then the other thing that has happened, and it's totally my fault, but it's happened without fail every single time, is if I drop the AirPods Pro case off of like a bench or a table, the headphones like fall out no matter what. Even if the drop is minor, the case opens and the headphones fall out onto the floor. So I would have loved if like the case stayed a little bit more secure, although I like shouldn't be dropping them in the first place. Those are my thoughts on the AirPods Pro. I actually think that they're a really worthy purchase, and for someone that's really conscious about how loud I listen to my music or my audio, I never want to be over like that 80 decibel like limit, which a lot of people have said can cause like permanent hearing loss if you're over that for an extended period of time. This kind of gives me the ease where I can use them in environments where I want to use my headphones without cranking them up to like a really high decibel. And in Apple's Health app, I can actually see how loud I listen to my music. And I've noticed that I listen to my music a lot lower on the AirPods Pro than my regular AirPods, but I still get like that same quality listening experience. So if you're someone that cares about active noise cancellation, maybe you travel a lot, like you're on the train or the airplane or like a bus or something, and you just want to take the edge off that outside noise, or you're someone that cares about like your hearing and you want to be health conscious, I would say that the AirPods Pro, get my recommendation. They're a really awesome product. That's it for this video though. If you liked it, definitely leave a like, subscribe right here so you don't miss any other content, check out another video right here, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye.